folks, welcome to this edition of the Bar Dad, where we pay tribute to
the St. Louis Blues
and the St. Louis Cardinals, toasted raviolis,
Imos Pizza,
and St. Louis Bourbon Slush. Pull up a chair and we'll talk all about it.
It's the Bar Dad.
Hey folks, welcome back to a very, very special episode dedicated to the Lou. Wonderful St. Louis, Missouri, and I brought with me an actual St. Louisan. Jamie, cheers, welcome.
Cheers, thank you.
All right, so this episode's all about St. Louis, and I gotta get it out of the way. Jamie, where'd you go to high school?
St. Joseph's Academy.
St. Joseph's Academy, St. Louis University High School. Go Junior Bills, right? So we got it out of the way.
Hey,
but
my brother's a junior bill.
Class. So, when you talk about St. Louis and you run into somebody from St. Louis, you find out where they went to high school, and then you end up talking about the food, right?
Yes.
So I have some traditional toasted raviolis here, right there. So let's engage.
And just to note, they are toasted Ravs, not fried Ravs,
No.
as outsiders tend to call them.
Cheers. Cheers. Boom. Ow. Outstanding. I'm going to talk with my mouth full. Brought Jamie on board today because we wanted to talk about Bourbon Slush. Now, I grew up thinking Bourbon Slush was isolated to the St. Louis area. It was a St. Louis invention, but it's not.
It is not.
It is not.
But like many things, we made it better.
Right there. It's made with love and lots of bourbon. And so I still wanted to do it because it's such a big part of us growing up. So tell the Bar Dad folks out there, after you swallow, I don't want you choking on the Bar Dad. I do know the Heimlich maneuver. What is your memory of Bourbon Slush growing up in St. Louis?
Honestly, my family didn't do a whole lot of bourbon slush, so I really didn't get introduced to it until I was of drinking age myself.
Oh, so you didn't see your mom drunk on Bourbon Slush at the neighborhood? No, okay.
No, did not have such a pleasure. But I worked for Anheuser-Busch, the largest small hometown business you're going to find in St. Louis, and we would do a girls trip, and this was one of the, had to come with us every year when we went. It was houseboat out on the lake, Bourbon Slush, Anheuser-Busch beer, and a bunch of women. It was just a dream weekend.
Beer, Bourbon Slush,
and bikinis.
Bikinis and a bunch of women. My experience with Bourbon Slush, is anytime we had a cookout or a party, like a 4th of July, or when I was at Boy Scout camp and it was Parents' Day, they always brought the Bourbon Slush with them, And it just tastes like St. Louis. It tastes like summer in St. Louis. And my mom would make a giant batch, and we're gonna make Mom's recipe. And it just lasted like weeks because you make just so much of it, right? And as a 12-year-old, I may or may not have imbibed my own, Bourbon Slush.
Again, it's St. Louis coming of age.
That's right. That's the baptism as you have your first glass of Bourbon Slush and your first toasted Rav.
And your first Budweiser.
There it is. That's pretty much being a St. Louisan in a nutshell, right there. But we love the town, and, if you're ever in St. Louis and you're driving on Highway 40.
I took 40 personally.
Oh, Highway 40, and you eat with a fork and a knife. I'm so excited because we are now going to talk about the ingredients in the St. Louis Bourbon Slush. So Jamie, take us through what we all have here.
All right, so you start with tea. We've got decaffeinated tea, so it is 4 tea bags in 2 cups of boiling water.
It's got to be like muy strong.
Because we're all bilingual in St. Louis.
That's right. Now, by the way, I need to tell you, in St. Louis, we don't have sweet tea. We have tea, and then you can have sugar with it.
Correct. You Southern viewers, we are going to add 1 cup of sugar and dissolve it into this tea. You can do it to taste. We like the bourbon taste in our Bourbon Slush, but if you want sweet tea, go ahead and then we add the juices. We've got lemonade from concentrate and orange juice from concentrate. These are the frozen concentrates, but you let them thaw so that they
12
pour
ounces
in there
a piece.
easy.
Now these are very hard to find. We spent literally 20 minutes looking in the damn freezer section for these. Because remember when we were kids, there was like half the freezer section was the frozen juice containers.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just like the itty bitty section down below. So you gotta really look hard for these.
And it's usually kind of like by the frozen fruit and desserts, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was on the bottom. It was the, you know, because that's really far down for us tall people.
Then we had water. We've got the fancy water here in the pretty bottle, but
Measured
it's really
out
just water.
6 cups right here. 6 cups of water, and then
The piece de resistance, your bourbon. We do Jim's Beam Devil's Cut. Good Kentucky bourbon. Devil's Cut is a premium bourbon. Gives it a little bit more bite. Perfect balance with the
muy
sweetness.
machismo flavor. This is like the St. Louis Spanish episode. Where we were supposed to have a real Latino
San
with
Luis.
us. I know, just San Luis. So we have the big bowl, El Bowl Grande here. And
in the wooden spoon.
in the wooden spoon.
Good for making slush or Catholic school discipline.
No. I'd have to redo that. Reminds me of being raised by an Italian mother. But the time she broke the polenta paddle on my butt.
Yeah, I'm Irish Catholic, so I just got the diamond ring to the back.
So what do we start with?
All right, so we're gonna start with the tea. It is already steeped. It was just boiling. It's cool enough now. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in the bowl.
Okay.
Do you want to measure me
A cup of sugar.
the sugar?
So you could do the cup of sugar again. James and I like a little more bourbony flavor, so I'm gonna go like a half a cup of sugar.
Because I'm sweet enough.
And we just stir that in till it dissolves. You know, you want to ungranulate it, right? So is that a word?
I don't think so, but we'll go with it. Old-fashioned
Thou'st
English.
ungranulating thy sugar.
The key is make sure your tea is still warm, and it'll dissolve that sugar real quick. So next,
Get this out of your way.
our juice. Do you want to open that
I will.
lemonade while I do the orange juice, please?
All right, so 1 12-ounce can of frozen orange juice, 1 12-ounce can
Lemonade.
frozen lemonade.
Unfrozen frozen lemonade.
All right, take that back there. Take out the official monogrammed Bardad hand towels. Now the recipe calls for 2 cups of bourbon, but this is the Bardad. And you know, you can never have too much bourbon. If we run out of room and can't do all the water, I'd rather have that than not have all the bourbon, right?
There is water in bourbon, so
Well,
really
it's bourbon water.
covering our bases here.
So that's 1 cup. This is 1 cup, right? I'm blind, I can't see.
It is.
All right. There's 2.
Can't do too much though, or it won't freeze.
Well,
You
true.
have enough for it to freeze and
Well,
still
all
become
right, all
slushy.
right, Bill Nye the Science Guy.
The resemblance is uncanny.
All right, and now 6 cups of water.
Pre-measured. 5.5
And
6.
6. Okay. So now we're going to stir this and we're going to put it in the freezer for a minimum of 24 hours. And through the magic of television, we have a beautiful bowl bourbon slush, right? So there's a couple of ways we can serve this. James, what do you? How are we doing this?
So usually I just kind of scrape it out, put a little scoop in, and then if it needs to be liquefied a little more, you can always add a splash of
Serve it up.
lemon lime soda. A little spin action going on here. So here you go.
You can use lemon lime soda or ginger ale. What would you prefer?
I'll do the lemon lime soda, please.
Okay. Lemon slime soda.
Lemon slime.
Lemon slime soda. We have to put our clothes in the washing machine when we're done. You know what else I'm gonna do, don't you?
Perfect.
Floater! Would you like a floater?
Of course. Have we met?
By the way, this took a little longer. We had to check the scores on Blues game. 0-0. So go Blues. James, this is our famous St. Louis. We're gonna call it St. Louis Bourbon Slush.
Bourbon slush, yes.
And cheers to you.
Cheers. Tastes like home.
Oh God, it's so good. What do you taste when you take it?
Definitely get the bourbon taste, but it's just, I don't know, it's sweetness. It's summer, it's family reunions,
Float trips down the Merrimack,
it's gatherings.
VP Fair, waiting in the parade.
This is a little harder to take down to Fair St. Louis, but otherwise, yeah.
Especially in the old days when you could do shit like that. You know, sitting along the side of the street and Dad reaches in
with
the
your
cooler.
big old glass full of slush.
Been done. Here's to all of our friends, all the fans out there from St. Louis. It's a great town. Lot of. You can leave the town, but the town does not leave you. Amen.
Never.
James, absolute honor and a pleasure, sweetheart. Mwah. Thank you
Always.
very much. Really appreciate you being here and sharing your bourbon slush stories and sharing some St. Louis heritage with all of the Bar Dad folks out there. So, James, don't forget. Don't forget to remind me to not tell you. Don't forget to. Wow.
I was getting confused. Just follow me there.
No. Imagine what was going on in my head.
Remind me to remind you to figure out what the hell you were going to remind me to remind you of.
Yes. And she's got to go. There's a Blues game on that we're missing, so we're going to kind of wrap this up quickly. Bar Dad folks, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit that like button. Find the Bar Dad on Instagram, and if you have any questions or want to share your St. Louis bourbon slush stories, email us at thebardad@gmail.com. Till next time, James, keep your bourbon slush closer. No, keep your bourbon slush close and your toasted ravioli closer. Ciao. We'll see you
Right
next
next
time.
to your Imos pizza.
Keep your friends close and your scotch closer. It's the Bar Dad.